Cimoooooooo! What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. So today I'm bringing to you my top 5 cards coming out of Eternity Code. Now, this is a bit weird, right? This set's gonna be legal in Europe in the next few days, and then, like, we're not gonna be getting it for, like, a month, at least here in North America, maybe more than that. So coronavirus is just throwing everything out of whack. That's just, like, the bare minimum. So I hope you guys are all staying healthy and safe, but I still want to bring you guys this video today because there's some pretty interesting cards that I wanted to discuss, and I wanted to get my picks out there, but also hear about what your top picks are from the set down in the comments below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Kicking things off with number 5, we actually have a common card out of the set, and it's very rare that I put cards that usually aren't at like the highest rarity on these types of lists, because typically the best cards in the game are at the highest rarity. Shocker, right? But that card is Parallel Exceed. Now this card is really neat, but for those of you who don't know, I'm gonna go ahead and read off the effect. Parallel Exceed reads, if this card is special summoned by the effect of Parallel Exceed, its level becomes 4 and its original attack and defense become halved. You can only use each of the following effects of Parallel Exceed once per turn. If you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand to your zone that link monster points to. And the second effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can special summon one Parallel Exceed from your deck. So this is really neat. Effectively, if you're playing any deck that link summons, by incorporating Parallel Exceed, you can then summon one of these out to the field, use the effect, summon out another from your deck. They both were summoned off of the effect of Parallel Exceed, and now they're level 4, which means you basically have a free rank 4 for any deck, and I think that is so cool. And that means a lot of different things. For instance, this is like a free Abyss Dweller, a free Bagooska, or just a myriad of different other options, because the rank 4 pool is very vast and there's a lot of options there. I think this will mostly be used for stuff like Abyss Dweller specifically, because Salamangreat in particular can take advantage of a card like this rather easily. It already has the correct typing. In the OCG, they're already experimenting with a card called Formud Skipper, where it basically meets the criteria to go into Baylinks, and then if that card gets linked off, you can then search for Parallel Exceed, and then at any point, you're basically then going to be able to go forth and get these two cards onto the field to make whatever rank 4 of choice, being Abyss Dweller, Bagooska, whatever you may think, and you're going to be looking pretty good. But it goes far beyond that, because again, as soon as you link summon, you're going to be able to take advantage of this. So if any deck is just looking for a way to turbo into any sort of level, or excuse me, any sort of rank 4, this is going to be an incredible way to do it. There's so much versatility. Formud Skipper also can just be summoned off of 1-for-1. I forgot to mention that. So if you play that in the deck, you don't even have to commit to your normal summons. You still have a plethora of other plays available. This is a really neat card. I can't believe this is only a common nonetheless. And for those reasons, that's why I gave Parallel Exceed my number 5 spot. But coming in at number 4, we have a Dinosaur Amador and Archosaur is the card we're looking for. This card is absolutely phenomenal for the Dinosaur strategy. Dinosaur's already looking very good prior to this card coming out, but this card just takes it to an entirely new level, and so I'm going to go ahead and read that effect off for you guys, for those of you who may be unaware. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can destroy one dinosaur monster in your hand or face-up field, except Amador and Archosaur. Then add one reptile, sea serpent, or winged beast monster with the same original level as that destroyed monster, or one evolution pill spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Amador and Archosaur once per turn. First of all, can we talk about how highly specific this card is when it comes to what it's able to get out when you use the effect? I just find it really funny that, like, typically most cards are like, you know, add one type of monster or like one type of card. This card lists 3 specific types of monsters, and then specifically like evolution pill cards. Obviously, I know it's dinosaurs. I know the reason why it says it. It's still just like, it's odd because you don't see cards worded this way very often. But nonetheless, this card's crazy. I mean, the first effect is built-in destruction for all of your different baby dinosaurs, like baby Ceratosaurus, Petit Pteranodon. So it helps you get another way to access those cards outside of using cards like your True Kings, Dragonic Diagram, and different things like that. This card's level 1 and a dinosaur, which means miscellaneous can fetch this card on its own. The amount of combos and plays that this card opens up for Dinosaur are absurd, and we're going to talk about another card a little bit later on that also helps facilitate some plays. It makes Dinosaur's ability to go first much more potent. I mean, yeah, it is able to do stuff like make True King of all calamities, maybe hand loop a little bit, but obviously Dinosaur's strength lies in its ability to go second, but this card enables it to go far beyond what it was capable of doing before and do some incredibly powerful combos. This card, people were hyping hyping it up so much when they first saw it, and for good reason, and for those reasons, that's why I put Amador and Archosaur as my number 4 spot. Now, coming in at number 3, we have another card that is just going to bolster an old strategy and help bring it up to speed with the current April 2020 meta, or I guess May 2020 meta, since it's about the end of April, and that card is Girsu, the Orcas Mech Knight. Man, if there's a reason why this deck is still tier 1, if not the best deck in the OCG, it's probably because of this card, and also because Harp is not banned. But regardless, this card is really, really powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the effect for you guys who don't know. Girsu, the Orcas Mech Knight, is a dark level 4 machine effect monster with 1800 attack and 0 defense. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can send one Orcas or World Legacy card from your deck to the graveyard. Then, if there are 2 or more other cards in this card's column, treat this card as a tuner this turn. If you control no other monsters, you can special summon one World Legacy token, which is a machine dark level 1 attack and defense 0 token, to both players' fields in defense position. You can only use each effect of Girsu the Orcas Mech Knight once per turn. I mean, wow, like talk about an insane power boost to Orcas. Like this card just does it all. I mean, it effectively dumps whatever card you want in the deck to the graveyard to facilitate all of the plays. I mean, it's in archetype now. It has the Orcas name. It has the Mech Knight name also, which may not seem that important at first, but some of the versions in the OCG actually incorporate the other Mech Knights like Blue Sky and Purple Nightfall, because they can help search this card and just make the deck even more consistent. Gives it some more consistency for going second as well, just because the Mech Knights are so good at going second. But even going first, Purple Nightfall, being able to set up your own column is not too difficult, and if you're able to do that without committing to your normal summon first, you can just search Girsu off of that Purple Nightfall, then slam Girsu down and pretty much go into your full combo. Being able to make him a tuner is incredible for stuff like Crystron Needle Fiber plays. You're giving yourself a token for even more Link plays. Yeah, you give your opponent a token as well. Sometimes that's actually a good thing because it actually allows you to play around specific cards like Evenly Matched or Lightning Storm, so bear that in mind. This card is just a tank. Now, obviously, if you're looking at this and the Amador and Archosaur, they're both very powerful in their own respective decks and could probably be interchangeable as the number 3 and number 4 on this list, but regardless of which you choose, both of these cards are incredibly powerful, but I'm really curious to see which deck ends up on top. I'm a little bit more partial to Orcas just because I played the deck in the past, and I can't wait to see what it does when the set is released. So for those reasons, that's why I gave Girsu the Orcas Mech Knight my number 3 spot. But coming in at number 2, oh boy, do I have a card for you. This card is already on the Forbidden and Limited list in the OCG. That should be a pretty bad omen for how powerful this card is, and that card is Linkross. Yes, Linkross is an incredibly powerful enabler for maybe not the most healthiest of strategies, but nonetheless, we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and read off the effect for those of you who are unaware of what it does. Linkross is a light Link 1 effect monster with 900 attack and requires 1 Link 2 or higher Link monster in order to be Link summoned. If this card is Link summoned, you can activate this effect. Special summon a number of Link tokens, which are Cyberse Light level 1 attack and defense 0 tokens, up to the Link rating of the monster used for this card's Link summon. Also, you cannot use Link tokens as Link material for the rest of this turn. You can only use the effect of Linkross once per turn. Now, people with a keen eye might be able to identify that this sounds awfully familiar compared to some other token generators we might have seen in the past, and while you are not able to use the tokens for Link summoning, that typically doesn't matter because you're able to use the tokens for whatever else you want, like synchro plays and so on, and that is where this card really shines. There are already tons of degenerate combos that Linkross enables by giving you those 2 tokens, being able to synchro into a myriad of different threats, getting into cards like, you know, Herald of the Arclight. It actually gives a boon to some older synchro monsters that really never got a chance to see the light of day and actually give them some utility now, and I think that's pretty cool. I think that's also due in part to Master Rule 5 being in effect because a lot of those decks were precluded by the Link arrow restriction, but that's perfectly okay. This card has an incredible amount of power, and people are going to be finding ways to abuse those Link link tokens as much as possible. Keep in mind, you get link tokens based off the link rating of whatever you use, and so that could matter a lot depending on what type of plays you're trying to do. I'm really nervous. This card is, again, it's already limited in the OCG, so that should just give you a warning of how powerful this card is. It doesn't exactly do anything healthy, let's put it that way, but it's a really cool card nonetheless, very powerful card, and for those reasons, that's why I gave Linkross my number 2 spot. But that's gonna bring us to my number 1 card coming out of Eternity Code, and if you haven't already figured it out, it's Access Code Talker. Holy shit, guys. This card is ridiculous. Like, all the cards we've talked about in this video are powerful for their own reason, but I don't think there's a single card that we've talked about on this list that could potentially be a staple in every single extra deck moving forward. So for those of you who don't know, let's go ahead and read off Access Code Talker's effect. Access Code Talker is a Dark Cybers Link effect monster with 2300 attack and a link rating of 4. He requires 2+ effect monsters, so pretty simple to bring out. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activations. If this card is link summoned, you can target one link monster that was used as material for its link summon. This card gains attack equal to that link monster's rating by 1000 times the link rating. You can banish one link monster from your field or graveyard, destroy one card your opponent controls. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot banish monsters with that same attribute to activate this effect of Access Code Talker. So first of all, what were they thinking? This card is incredible! Let's start off with the first part. Your opponent can't respond to any of the activated effects of Access Code Talker, so it basically has like a built-in super poly clause, which we know how fair that is, but then when you read what the other parts of the effects are as well, that's when this card just gets nuts. So the first activated effect that we can talk about is that you target one of the link monsters that you use to link summon this card, and it gains 1000 attack for each of its link ratings. So if you get rid of something like, let's say, a link 2, it's going to gain 2000 attack and now be 4300 attack, or if you get rid of a link 3 and like a link 1 worth of material, so literally any other monster, then it's going to have 5300 attack. Like, we're getting into like game-ending power level damage, and not only that, this card is able to basically clear boards because it has the ability, the second activated ability, which by the way you can't respond to, that you can banish a monster out of your graveyard and then you get to just pop a card for free. Like, that's great, and guess what? You can keep doing that if you have different attributes of monsters, because nowhere on this card does it say that this card can only be used once per turn. So that is just absurd. So you can just clear off your opponent's monsters, have like a 5300 attack Access Code Talker, and just swing right at their face. This card is ridiculous. Now, is this going to replace stuff like Borosaur Dragon? I don't necessarily think so, because like Borosaur Dragon is an OTK machine, but Borosaur Dragon doesn't have the ability to pop cards either, so like it could be an interesting argument to make of which one you might want depending on what type of deck that you're making. Access Code Talker provides an insane amount of utility for pretty much almost every deck in the game by giving you removal, giving you a win condition, and having it all be protected under its own effect that your opponent cannot respond to any of its activated effects. This card, the more you read it, the better it gets. Be careful, because this card is going to be everywhere once Eternity Code is legal, and so it's no surprise that Access Code Talker is my number 1 card coming out of Eternity Code. But guys, those are just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like the video as always, subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content, and if you found this video informative, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member. Just by showing your support in any way that you can, you're investing in my ability to continue bringing you amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. So thanks so much again, and we'll see you next time.